Yo, what's happening with it, YouTube world? It's your man's and them foul shot, aka the Toothless Wonder, reporting on the Bamboozled Again News Network. And this is where I run into problems, because there's so much to cover. A lot of it is just random worldly stuff that just be uh, uh, mind boggling, right, in the tomfoolery aspect. Then there's a plethora of things going on that will affect you personally at some point in time. But there's still no need to live in fear. The word commands us to fear not. You know what I'm saying? And here's the space where I think we're in, where, like the preacher man, he talk about the word, or he use a particular verse to run a sermon. But here's to me where the word is becoming ever more applicable in real life, when based on everything that's happening geopolitically, in your personal life, socially, financially, health wise, you know what I'm saying, biochemically, you know what I mean, a plethora of different avenues, right? This is where I feel the need, or see the evidence ever more clearly, of why you live the word out. Because as I've discovered to a greater degree and level, powerlessness, you understand me? Now, I'll understand something and then apply it in other areas, right? But spiritual principles are universal and can be applied to everything that you do. So, in order for me to get the ball rolling on sobriety, right, I had to admit and then operate in a level of powerlessness that then brings about acceptance, right? It's only when you accept the matter that you're able to see it in totality for what it actually is, detach from it, and then move accordingly, right? And that's what's so vexing to me, right? In some aspects of my personal life, right? I talked about my child custody issue, you understand? And from the way it's looking, but just because it look away don't mean it's that way, right? But I understand, how the system is set up to, let's say, hinder, uh, vex, kind of socially neuter, especially the black man when you're dealing in the court system, right? You know what I mean? Trick Daddy had a song back in the day. You can have a PhD, but you're still an N-word. You understand? So I went to, lawyer spots and, various government agencies. I'm attesting all this various stuff, and ain't none of these folk call me back. But at the same time, nobody, I'm making some great claims here, right? But nobody's come to check me to prove me wrong. You understand me? So whatever that is. Um, Powerlessness almost in the sense of community. It's almost like now in the black community, you can't have any real effective power unless you're coming under the guise of a Trojan horse or the bamboozle people. You understand me? Now, I've had my personal issues and still got a few. I'm constantly growing, evolving, right? But my name, my reputation, precedes itself, right? But I'm hard pressed and hindered to effectively help the community, right? But if the pastor man hop out the pulpit and going, it's 1,000 people out there. You understand me? I said this to myself earlier on in my journey. I said, Most High, if I'm gonna have some level of impact based on whatever you call me to do, which I'm not exactly sure what it is, probably until the time reveals itself, right? I'm either one gonna have to have finance, because Negroes don't listen to Negroes unless they lying to them or they got some money, or I'm actually gonna have to be able to perform practical miracles in the street like the disciples did, or the prophets. Now, if I come telling them the truth, or if I come caring, genuinely, and show the evidence and the fruit thereof, they're gonna take advantage of it, or they ain't gonna pay it no mind, or let's say I go to jail or something, they're gonna forget all about it and go right back, like the word said, and I've done it, a pig returning to the mud. You know what I'm saying? So I had these great ideas, these great, I want to live a purposeful life of service that somehow impacts whomever I'm called to, right? And I'm understanding, or I'm perceiving rather, that if we still label certain segments of the society as still human, based on the genetic code, it seems like a futile, frivolous effort at this point. I believe when I look at the Old Testament and whatnot, there might be something in the core of our DNA where if we don't serve the Most High, we actually enjoy, even though we complain about it, we actually enjoy serving the oppressor. Anything of resemblance to responsibility for our own lives and whatever come with that, we don't want it. But at the same time, in the same token, we'll then complain about harsh treatment. We're actually begging for better enslavement, yeah. It's mad wild out here, B. You understand? Funny story, right? And this is just curtailing how far Babylon is falling, right? So I reached out to my old coworker just to, rap a taste, right? Because I enjoy hearing the chicanery of my former job. It's almost like old folks watching stories. It just tickles me so, right? And sin knows no bounds. Just like with people who live a certain lifestyle, no matter what that may be, if you do it long enough, whatever you say you won't do will end up doing. Like all the gangster Negroes telling or whatever, right? Or I'm my like on what was that, New Jack City? I'm my brother's keeper until the game played a certain way, and then the situation tempts you to do something to your brother to save your own self. We see it all over the place, right? So one of my former coworkers is on the alternative side, right? So my other coworker tells me, now this particular coworker is in a alternative relationship. Now here's what's tripping though. Now back in the day, it's saying like, and I always wondered about this, where okay, you alternative, right? Cool. But a lot of the, let's say the badder alternative women, they actually get with a woman that look like a man. Why not just be with a man? But whatever, I don't understand it. But now what I'm saying, my co-worker looked like Dennis the Menace. True story. I've seen her significant other, and it looked like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So you have two manly looking women's that's together, right? Okay, and my co-worker has maybe a middle school age son, right? So my heart go out to little homie, because growing up in that household, he trying to figure out how he get on earth. You know what I'm saying? If I got two mommies, whatever, I digress, right? So my coworker tells me, and I'm slow rolling this, my coworker tells me that these two manly looking women are both pregnant by the same dude. Huh? So I guess my coworker significant other was working at some place, some grocery store, and then it got to, and my coworker and them, they white, right? But it got to be a brother with the tomfoolery, right? So the brother, I guess, however that worked out, they got with that. Now I don't know if they decided to bring in some Mandingo warrior, or maybe my coworker found out about the significant other and said, well, I ain't gonna leave you, but since you did this, I'm gonna get stung up too by the same person. So we all, you know what I mean? I don't know, right? But here's what's tripping, right? And it's always one of us. That's not really what's alarming to me, right? Even though they're both pregnant by the same dude, he probably not gonna be in a house. Like I'm trying to figure out what kind of Negro would do that though. And if they're both masculine looking women, I want to meet him, because is he like half Josh Swedish chef, where he get off on women that look like men's? You know what I'm saying? It's so confusing. It's diabolical out here. Now, or is he gonna be in the household? You know what I'm saying? With the two, I doubt that seriously. So they both just got naturally inseminated by the buck dude, and now they're online saying, yeah, we're both pregnant. But of course, ain't no man involved nowhere, none of that. I roll. But my heart go out to the little homie. Go, what he gonna do? Go to school and say, oh yeah, both my mommies are pregnant. Where the daddy at? Now, if he, I'm pretty sure he gonna be on, psychotropic medication, because what's going on in reality? And here's what's happening. I said that to segue to this, right? Because what's going on in reality outside of his eyeballs is contradictory to his natural, what's the word I'm looking for? His natural order. And I think that's what happens a lot of time with the chosen, right? Where what's going on outside your eyeballs isn't conducive to what's in your heart. So how do you find your niche in this world? I'm 42 years old, and my niche up until this point has come from the very same things that afflicted me for years on end. You understand me? Because, as we see the world, or the illusion thereof here in Babylon, falling apart, Where do you run to? You can't run to the church. I believe the AME Church in Baltimore is having their national convention, and they talk about Trump, this, that, and the third. Again, how Negroes do it. Talk about the problem, no solution, which is which is glorified victimization, if you ask me. Here it is in the land where they're attempting to spiritually weaken, physically weaken, mentally weaken, emotionally weaken folk. I don't see a whole lot of people stand up to be the victor, right? Or at least attempt to be so. And here's what's crazy in the inversion of society. Though now we'll watch it on a movie and be inspired by it, but when somebody do it in real life, they cancel. They put them on cancel culture, or you know what I mean? What's going on, folks? But I understand it better from a spiritual perspective. For woe to those who call evil good and good evil. It's crazy in the black community. Here's something that's going by the wayside. Like marriage parties and whatnot. I've seen people here in my small town, their teenage daughter get pregnant and they have a baby shower and everybody like, you're celebrating a generational curse, but nobody's celebrating marriage. And then seemingly, they done sold the game up. When you do get married, then, you know, they're giving the proverbial woman a loaded gun that she can use at any time when she feel like it. Everything here has been spiritually destroyed. So if it's been spiritually destroyed, it's only a matter of time before you see the destruction in the physical realm. And I think we're seeing it now. But it's so normalized that we're not necessarily, unless we reflect, we're not necessarily taken back by how far the rabbit hole we've gone, Joe. You know what I mean? Anytime women, they say, what's that famous, it's a quote that says, a nation can rise no higher than its women. When women are openly, proudly engaging in harlotry. And those that don't stand far enough away from those that do. So most Negroes, or men in general, can't tell the difference. And at the very least, when they do something irreprehensible, you don't even say nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then when they do say something, you gotta figure out, are they doing like the just pearly things woman and just basically saying male talking points for their own purposes to make money and to garner male attention. But is this really in your heart? What the words say, where your heart is, your treasure lies also. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, everything outside my door ain't nothing to the kid. You know what I'm saying, me? I handle my practical, purposeful business, and I'm back in the house where it's peaceful at, and I find joy and sanctum from escaping the madness in the world, like, who was that Tupac said? Because it's getting air more with inflation. I don't know how tariffs work, but when I was calling about my car or whatever, they told me I had to get it done by a certain time, because when the tariffs kick in, it's actually going to make it more expensive. Then let's say, which it seems to be the case, and of course they'll spin it in the news here, and they probably won't call, I don't know, you never know what them people going to do, or what they'll call it, but eventually it is going to happen at some point, since time seems to be speeding up. We are going to war with Iran, whether they call it a war or not, or whether they use another nation as a proxy and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, right? Which during wartime, probably not like during World War II, and one where that caused like, you know, mass production, that kind of fueled the economy. This is different because the world is so globalized now. A war way over there can affect, you know, let's say cotton prices back here. You know what I'm saying? So on top of rampant inflation, it'll probably go up because logistics will be disrupted, or, you know, cyber attacks and all this, that, and the third, right? On top of already rising costs, consumer stress, whatever the case may be. So I said all that to say this. Be honest with you. I'm powerless. I don't care. Just like yesterday, we had a tornado warning here where I live at. So my daughter's like, oh, it's a tornado warning. We supposed to go in the basement? Yeah, we supposed to. But I'm going to do like, geez, I'm finna go sleep. And my spirit is not triggered to be all, oh my God, tornado warning. We should, you know what I mean? Went to sleep. That joint didn't even, I don't know, it might have, thunderstorm might have cracked about 10 minutes over with. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I believe where your spiritual instincts come from. And throughout my life, even when I wasn't in this particular awakening, I've always been led spiritually, not realizing it. Out of nowhere, I started dreaming about going to North Carolina. I don't know. I'm like, why am I thinking about North Carolina so much? But I think what the Most High did, having a remote control to my spirit, he was actually triggering my spirit to make me think it with me, to get me to move in a certain way that he wanted me to do. Now, this particular move that was triggered, and some other moving parts that only he can put together, actually put me on a path, as I talked about on here, to meet someone who ultimately passed away from cancer. But it actually was the beginning of what I like to call it, the deconstruction of an old world, old reality, to then over an exhaustive period of time, create a new reality. Whereas reality is falling apart, I now delve more into the spiritual principles and my spiritual reality. You know what I'm saying? Living in the present moment, practicing gratitude, operating in, I'm reading through, I just got done with something, reading through Proverbs now, where wisdom will be worth more than gold, and I believe Proverbs alludes to that. Money can't save you. Social status can't save you. It is only wisdom and your personal relationship with the Most High. That's the only way you'll either, one, be able to navigate these various situations on the precipice of, let's say, I don't even think it's a tribulation. I think it's that war that then creates the circumstance that lead to the actual tribulation, right? About how to move or to be empowered. Like I believe it was last video where I talked about I hadn't eaten. There were more days in the week that I actually ate meals, but yet I was still able to walk all over, Anne Arundel County, Maryland at night, just trying to, expand, free my mind, right? And I said, where am I getting the strength to do this? And I knew this in real time, that my spirit was carrying my mortal flesh. How's it where your spirit is quickened? You understand? The ability to go without food and not necessarily be tired or hungry. I've been because lately, within the last year, I've gotten into fasting. I've gotten into honoring the Sabbath. By doing just those two things, you separate yourself from the world. In gluttonous culture, and a culture that has turned the Sabbath essentially into a leisure party day. You understand? Operating in the principles and the tenets of the Most High, you separate yourself from the world by default by doing those things. Having good business practices, treating people correctly, forgiving people. Just those three things will separate you from the world by default. And as we see, to me, the world is going head first into destruction and judgment. And I don't want to part of that. I've been disciplined before. That's why I don't do nothing now. You know what I'm saying? And in most cases, I'm not even tempted to do it because how stupid it is. You know what I'm saying? Or how frivolous and futile certain endeavors, the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life, is all being eroded. Like I go like my social media, whatever, and be all the bodacious, women's or whatever, and I see them, but spiritually, I'm kind of like saddened by the fact all these sisters got their cheeks augmented, and I can just know that they're inwardly devoid of a soul at this point. Vainglory and vanity running rampant. So what do you think is going to happen? Because I was just up by the Family Dollar jump, and there were two women in there got caught stealing. But here the tripping part though, right? They got caught stealing, but this ain't their first time. They were just attempting to steal less, so the dude tried to work with them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just so many avenues you can go with this. Let's say what would I call it? The agenda against manhood, masculinity, right? Now it does affect men, but what they don't see is how it's going to affect them when, as they say, SHTF happen. You have no track record of being, a helpmeet to a man. Not even just that. In more often cases than not, outside of anything I do outside my home, I don't even want these women around me because they irk my spirit. I don't enjoy your company. I don't enjoy you as a human to the sum of your being because it's been eroded and punished out of it. Now, granted, anybody can repent. You know what I'm saying? But At this point, I truly want, because repentance and changing of a lifestyle is a process and a transition. Like when I read the Bible about Paul, and after he got blind on the road to Damascus and whatnot, he was off the grid for like, I want to say a 2-3 year period. He didn't just immediately go back. So much so when he did reemerge, the last time they seen him was the last memory they had of him, and they was leery of him. You know what I'm saying? But the only way he quote on, and they were still kind of leery, quote unquote, won him over, is because of his changed behavior. That's why I implore anybody, because in the age of rampant narcissism, you know what I'm saying, where they talk, they gaslight, they try to change the reality, get you question yourself, try to emotionally trigger you, say, see, da-da-da, they keep poking the bear, whatever. That's why I was prone, or I've come to understand, I don't listen to what people say, I watch what you do. And if what you do and what you say don't match, I ain't listening to you. And you can't convince me to, because why your actions don't match your behavior. And then they'll never answer it. They'll start talking about some other stuff, take you on a Osley Brothers fantastic voyage, and then you'll totally forget what you was talking about. And that's the whole point of it. The enemy does what? Of course, steal, kill, and destroy, but it also brings confusion. This world is so confusing. The only way, I don't even want to say, to gain some level of understanding to where it makes sense, is if you go to the scriptures, not in a religious sense, but in a basic instructions before leaving earth sense. You understand me? So I'm not really worried about not knowing nothing. And to be totally frank with you, and I don't know if I'm right for this, I want to stay on my vein here, but I know, like, as I was reading through Psalms, right, David routinely prayed for, the fall of his enemies, yo. Now, I don't know if he was, because of who he was supposed to be, if he was to do that, or it's because of the Old Testament. But I never really seen that in the New Testament where, like, let's say Paul was praying for Roman destruction or the empire, whatever, right? I don't know about that, right? I don't have all the answers. But I'll be honest. We're talking about the same nation who has put drugs in our community. The same nation who has set up social agendas to destroy the nuclear family. The same nation that is experimenting on folk. You know what I'm talking about? The same nation that has glorified and financially promoted degenerate behavior through music. You see what I'm saying? Maybe because I know in Amos it talks about woe to those who wish upon the day of the Lord. Now, when Babylon, I don't think that's the day of the Lord. But I can kind of, So, I do want to see the fall of the oppressor, though. I'll be honest, yeah. Those who have been high and mighty and had this long run of financial and worldly success, I do want to see them rendered back down to earth, yeah. Am I wrong for that? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the Most High working with me on that. Because if you probably watch my channel or gain any level of insight or it helps you out in any degree, I'm pretty sure if you anything like me, and of course we all got our different kind of, life trajectories, life journeys, right? But I've been rejected. I either been rejected by the world, which is now I see beneficial, or when certain olive branches were extended for me to ingratiate myself with it, my spirit went like, it could, put me in this position, or it is financially, but, and I can't even explain this. I don't want to fool with them. What you gonna do? I don't know, but I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Listening to your intuition, your conscience, which I believe the Most High speaks to me through. Up until this point, right? Like I said, I had a job at Mobile Christ next town over. If I don't take a calculated risk listening to my spirit, I'm still not able to operate while my car getting worked on. Because now I'm close enough to where I can ride a bicycle, and it's probably less than 5 minutes. You understand me? You know what I mean? But I had to take that calculated risk. Now, where I work at, it could be hit by rampant budget cuts. But I don't feel the need to look for other options or whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting out of leaning to my own wisdom and understanding, even to the respect of my personal goals, dreams, and aspirations. You know what I'm saying? Because everything I've tried, even though it be practical, purposeful, I've seen other people do it, I'm just smart as them, whatever, that may not be for me because he is putting me on a whole different track. Where's that track? Mm-hmm. But it's not for me to know, because if I did know, I wouldn't be in an active practice of living by faith day by day. Because as the world continues to go whatever, or go however it go, I'm going to need that requisite experience of living in faith by practice so that I'm just not thrown into the game. And now all of a sudden I got to live by faith, and I ain't never been in no situation where I got to do that. You understand? Word up. So ever more trusting in the Most High, not for a specific outcome, but that He'll get glory out of my life, and that's where the purpose lies. Because everything else for me is full, and I did just about everything in the world. Had a quick run of it, and like, man, that ain't all it's cracked up to be. You know what I'm saying? But I still never. Maybe I wasn't destined to wake up at that time. Maybe that's part of the reason why I used drugs, because I couldn't find my purpose. Or my purpose is tied to this, and I know the word talk about us being like in the wilderness amongst the people and whatnot. Now I'm perfectly content and fine with that. And I'm waiting upon the Most High when prayerful I'm found worthy for it to bring us all together. You know what I'm saying? The late bloomer syndrome, where, in practically in worldly sense, I'm a late bloomer, but my growth emotionally, mentally, and spiritually over the last 4 years has been exponential. So much so, I live the word more so than people get paid millions of dollars to preach it. And don't do it for people prayers and nothing like that. I was doing all this in the dark. It's just now I'm around people and they see the evidence or the fruit thereof, or the change in my aura or my energy, you know what I'm saying? But all this was honed in darkness. Just like a seed is planted in darkness. You don't see the fruit thereof till it cracked the ground. You know what I'm saying? But it's planted in water in the dark. And depending on what kind of seed it is, it might stay there for a while. You know what I'm saying? Where it's cold and, you know what I mean? I'm now gaining this understanding of spiritual wisdoms and epiphanies through average everyday earth stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like the parables or the stories of, the ant being diligent and not needing nobody tell it what to do. It just somehow know. Or during certain seasons, let's say seasons of life, the goose or the duck just knows to fly south for the winter, even though they don't need nobody to go tell them do that. You know what understand me? Let's say the bison, if they're in a drought, they inherently know where to go to find water. You know what I mean? So as this matrix crumbles that has created a lot of dependency on it, I believe that and I pray for y'all as well, no matter where, city, rural, suburbia, wherever, right? That we'll just inherently get these downloads and know what to do, even if we ain't done it no more. Or did it before, rather. You understand? So I'm not worried about nothing. I done been stopped worrying about no bills, no credit. Because, like I said, money ain't going to be able to get you out. Money ain't going to be able to save you. You can have all the money in the world. But let's say they, I don't know, martial law. You can't pay your way out of martial law. Especially if the currency done tanked into the earth. The only way to manage and deal with stuff is spiritually. And that is where your true power comes. And I'll leave on this note. And I'm paraphrasing. And I forgot exactly where. I know it's in the New Testament. But he said, ye have no power. Forgive me, y'all. Ye have no power outside of the branch. Or the vine has no power if it's not attached to the branch. That's why, even though we'll see now everybody's going to the left-hand side of things and getting this spiritual power or counterfeit power from Beelzebub or whoever, but unless you super high up there, the people that I personally know who practice witchcraft don't have no power. Not that I see. They just practicing some stuff. It might have worked better for, but now that stuff ain't working. You know what I'm saying? I know witches who can't cast love spells. They lonely. You know what I'm saying? Or you're the master empress woman, but low grade dudes smash you and chuck you to the side. But you the wicked witch of the West though. Huh? Where your power? Well, Cal, where your power at? The power to not fool with none of that. You know what I'm saying? The power to not get bamboozled. That's them two superpowers in and of itself. That'll set you apart. You know what I mean? Word up. And I have my moments like everybody. But I ain't starting on this foolishness, man. And it's not like, let's say worst case scenario, whatever's coming. Let's say you're broke Or me, I'm broke, home. I've been broken home most of my life. So it's not like I can't. Now, of course, it'll be challenging, but it's not like I can't handle it. And I don't want to say thrive, but I inherently know what to do and manage on a day-to-day basis, even outside of, let's say, government resource and all that, because now I'm in a different spiritual space of application and practice on a daily basis. So, I'm homeless. I mean, it probably feel some type of way, but I ain't finna lose my mind about something I've been through before. I'll just figure out what to do. And I'll be out, like, when I go down to the water at night, and when you just outside, it just feel like the Most High, he just watching you. You know what I'm saying? Well, at least me anyway. You know what I'm saying? When I go to the water and do my squats or whatever I call myself done, that's how I connect. You know what I'm saying? I just, just basking in that, the earth. You know what I'm saying? Not the world that has, the illusionary world that has been constructed on top of the earth. You know what I'm saying? And everything, like, seemed like time is an illusion at this point. The week that flew by. The whatever they call money and currency, illusion. You know what I'm saying? Healthcare, illusion. Politics, illusion. Church, illusion. You know what I'm saying? It's all an illusion. Spell casting magic, and for me at least, the spell has been broken. I see it for what it is, and how it affects other people. The average human being I may come across, it kind of saddens me. But just looking at it for what it is, it's funny. It's funny at this point. Like I seen the Brittany Renner woman. This is how popped across my feed. She said something about she took a DNA test to see if her kids were hers. Yeah, she's a woman. A boy, damn it. You know what I'm saying? What else do you do but trip out these folk? I never thought I'd see the day. I read about it in the Word, but to see it play out in application, not even the geopolitical stuff on it. I'm talking about just how just like what people believe now and what they do. And you're talking to someone who was super duperly impulsive. You know what I'm saying? But now, not even on like I'm better enough, but now I sit like, God darn, why you do that, cuz? Where was that gonna get you, y'all? Hey, it seems like ain't nobody, and the Word talk about this in the last day, people be proud, boasters, loving money, loving themselves, truce breakers, you know what I'm saying, cruel, so on and so forth, right? I'm just curious, right? And I'll just put it in Babylon. What would be the purpose of getting married? And it seems like ain't nobody faithful. That's mind-boggling to me. I'm going to get with somebody to then go get with other people who they themselves are probably getting with other people. It's amazing how you don't really get somebody or you don't get attention from the opposite sex, whether it be male or female, until the day you got somebody. That don't make no sense to me. Okay, I see a nice young lady or whatever. Okay, whatever. And then now I don't really want to try to get with her until I see it with somebody else, knowing she having sex with that man. So now, when she was, on the market, I was scared or whatever the case may be. But now that I see it with main man, now I want to hit it knowing that he hitting it. It's so jacked up here. I know brothers personally who only sleep with women who are married, yeah. And that's ill in and of itself. But it's actually easier to sleep with married women than a... Man, they did a number on us, Jack, yo. Man, Babylon got to be destroyed. Because if Babylon not destroyed, we going to be destroyed, yo. We can't have another generation of this. We can't have another generation of single motherhood where they putting their kid on psychotropic medication to get SSDI checks, yeah. And then them kids we can't... It can't go on much longer, bro. It can't. Not even a fun. In a social sense. Anytime ain't nobody faithful to one another. Anytime a group of people routinely listen to liars and defend them, like I made a video about defending the Bamboozler. I seen Wilbur Sapp, what's his name? Marvin Sapp, right? Go on the Ricky Smiley show and basically use intellectual verbiage to explain his reasoning for what he did, right? And then Ricky Smiley hop up on the junk. I've never known Ricky Smiley be tough. But, basically defend the man. But if you don't have any spiritual instinct, what he said would have sounded like, yeah, I see why he told him close the door till he got $40,000. You know what I'm saying? You are, a massive, gospel singer, whatever. Why you ain't lead by example and put up the 40? No, that's what I talk. No, the leadership ain't leading. They just tell you what to do and absolve themselves of doing it. The inspiration ain't inspiring. You know what I'm saying? The math ain't mathing. You know what I'm saying? The church ain't got no spirit. That's insane. The health ain't got no care in it. You understand? The black folk don't have no unity. That's like saying the desert is wet. It's crazy. If I've been on here rambling long enough, I don't even know I'm going to call this junk. Y'all just keep on keeping on, yo. Seriously. Listen to your boy, yo. And I ain't even trying to bamboozle you. Like, and I'll leave you on this. Tupac said there's only one way up. Hold your head, stay up. And on that note, I'm going to holler at y'all. Sign off from the Bamboozle Again News Network, where Negroes get bamboozled every day, B. But you be all right. You got the most high. Cover your six.